Welcome aboard. This is the Miles to Go podcast. And now here's your host, Ed Pizza.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Miles to Go podcast. We're recording a little bit later than normal this week due to Richard's travel schedule this week. He's coming to us live from London. Mr. Kerr, I hope the trip over was a wonderful one for you. How are things over across the pond?
Bonjour, ça va?
I just want to share.
Yeah.
It really looks like you're not in London.
That's funny because, you know, my plane, Virgin Flight 104, took off 2 hours ago and is currently over the eastern seaboard without the Kerr family. It's been a bit of a 72 hours, I think, for both of us here on the Miles to Go podcast.
It's been a bit of a kerfluffle. I have a whole list of topics here on the screen that we were going to cover this week. I'm not sure how many of them we're going to cover, but probably not many.
It's some good lessons learned, though. I mean, the people they're going to be entertained. Yeah. They're going to be thrilled. There might be a few tears. There will be a few smiles, and we're all going to leave our week better after listening to the Miles to Go podcast. There's no doubt about that.
We're going to live vicariously through Richard's misery. And at time of recording, just on top of, you know, the elephant in the room, we have Southwest laying off 15% of their workforce. We have a Delta regional jet upside down on the runway. I mean, it's been a Monday. It's been an unbelievably bizarre travel day with all of the different, like in any one of these things would be like, oh my gosh, and here we sit. So a little bit of housekeeping, Mr. Kerr, and then I'm going to get out of your way to explain why your room at the Hyatt Regency London Churchill looks oddly like your spare bedroom. For those watching at home or listening at home, you can text us or leave us a voicemail at 571-293-6659. He is at Kerr Points on all those social media channels. I am at Pizza in Motion, as I've been told by our esteemed social media producer, Auburn. TikTok does still exist. So apparently,
good.
Just wanted you to know that, Mr. Kerr.
Happy for all those folks.
So at Miles to Go podcast on TikTok and Instagram. You can also shoot us an email at pizzainmotion.com. All right, Mr. Kerr, tell everybody about the 7,000 texts that I received from you over the weekend.
I was supposed to be in England, man. Well, here's the short of it. If everybody remembers, last summer I tore my right calf playing, you know, the Lord's sport of pickleball.
I just got done making fun of you for that injury.
Yeah, hey, recovery was great. You know, we knocked out the 10K in November. We play pickleball every single week. Continue to be very active on the travel scene. I don't know, man. I was in New York City all last week, feeling great, feeling fine. Definitely an incredibly long, but a fantastic week. Flew home on Friday. Felt fine other than just being completely exhausted, which is nothing new. Threw the football with Thomas Friday afternoon. Everything's great. Went to bed, slept amazing. Woke up Saturday morning and went, man, my right leg really hurts. It's gotten, you know, tight and stiff from time to time since last summer during the recovery, but I usually stretch it out, drink a whole bunch of water, get hydrated, and I'm loosened up and ready to go. That was not the case on Saturday. Just never got any better. Saturday night feeling pretty bad. Woke up Sunday morning. This is about 36 hours ago at time of recording, and my leg was throbbing, man. And I was like, dadgummit, like, what happened? And as we've seen of recent, like, Summer, our good buddy, posted a story about 2 weeks ago thinking that she caught a blood clot in her calf, went and got it checked out because you don't really want to mess with those things. So now I'm inside my head going, this thing's really hurting a whole lot worse than when I tore it the first time. From being on a plane for basically the last 3 weeks, you know, did I catch a blood clot? So I was like, we're supposed to go to London in 36 hours. I better go get this checked out now. Called the urgent care and they're like, we don't have an ultrasound. Sounds like you need to go get checked out, man. Ended up in the ER, and wouldn't you know, man, by the time my ultrasound tech said, just a second, I'm going to call my coworker here and to take a look at this, I was like, this probably not the news that you want. So she came in and they were both giving the screen a funny look. Turns out not only did I re-tear my right calf, but I also have a blood clot right behind my knee at the top of my calf, man. So we're 2 for 2. And my leg just does not feel good. And if I slur my words, I have some very powerful prescribed legal medication that I'm taking right now. Because, man, I woke up last night just in agony, and this morning, man, I was up at 5:30 and could go back to sleep. I don't know if it's the blood clot. Apparently, ladies, I'm gonna be fine. It's been there for a while. He said a chronic clot, but he's like, I can't give you any blood thinners because your calf is still bleeding where you retore it that we saw on the ultrasound as well. So you're just going to have to sit there and tough it up until you quit bleeding that calf, and then we'll take a look at it. But he's like, you're going to be all fine. But hey, look, man, like, go get checked out, everybody. Like that's the lesson that we all learned here from Uncle Dick. Go get checked out so that if you do have a blood clot, that thing doesn't get stuck in your lungs or your heart. So man, I was in such a foul mood. We were supposed to record yesterday, and I just told you, I'm sorry, man, it's not going to happen. I was in such a foul mood because now what do I have to do? We're 24 hours from what is going to be a 10-day trip to Europe for me and a 20-day trip to Europe, and I have to unwind everything, and I got to do it fast. So 4 airlines, train tickets, attraction tickets, 3 hotel like, dude, it took me all day yesterday because there's a big snowstorm up north, and the hold times were long. I'm out about $800 right now, which coming from where we were,
I'm stunned it's only $800.
Yeah, that's what Emily said too. That's what Mrs. Kerr said. I think I can get another $400 of that back if I plead my case strong enough to Virgin for canceling those tickets. But yeah, literally 2 hours ago, we were sitting downstairs and Thomas was like, Dad, where's our plane? And it had just taken off. We were looking at a flight away, and I was like, this sucks. This sucks for so many reasons. And now my leg really, use the beep word, Jeremiah, my leg really fucking hurts. It's like, I don't feel good. I want to go to bed. I'm grumpy, and I'm not in Europe.
Yeah, you are correct. None of you. And I've got if I was watching on video here, I have my bingo card here, and I've got 2 choices here. I've got blood clot or tore calf muscle. I don't have a both category, so I'm gonna need a new bingo card, because as you and I are texting back and forth while you're in the ER, it's like, well, man, I mean, like, if either one of these things, it happened, it's bad for you, and. And then you said, like, there's an object on the ultrasound before you'd actually talk to the doctor. I'm like, all right, well, at least we know it's a clot, and at least it's something that we can deal with. And you're just like, Ed, hold my beer. It's going to get better.
Yeah, the doctor walked in. So I got Brenda. Shout out to Brenda there at the Noonan Piedmont Hospital. Brenda, she gave me some teasers that I don't think she was legally supposed to give me. So when the doctor came in and he was like, you're not pregnant, it's twins.
Yeah, it's a good thing you gave her name away. Yeah,
that wasn't her real name, man. I'm not that dumb. Tricia.
Dadgummit.
The doctor was like, congrats, you got both. And I was like, both what? He was like, yeah. So look, ladies, blood clots are nothing to mess around with. So everybody, if you got that pain in the calf, especially if it's hot or swelling after long trips or flights, or like, go get that some gun checked out and make sure that sucker's not going to break loose and get you. That's game over right there. So now I got to worry about, like, my family has no history of this. I've never had this. Has it really been because I'm pushing it too hard? Is it really because I've been traveling so much? Is it like,
I still don't. I mean, here's what I still don't get though. And I've asked you this. This has to be the 3rd or 4th time I've asked you. I am still not sure how you retore your calf muscle and don't know that you, like, I believe you when you say it. But I mean, I remember when you did it, you're like, I heard a pop and I felt a sharp pain.
Yeah. I felt like I got kicked immediately, knew I was screwed. I'm telling you, man, I got home from the airport. I walked through Newark fine. I was on the plane just fine. I walked through ATL through the parking lot, home, through the football with Thomas at the park, completely fine, went to bed. I'm like, am I making this up? And, all the curs in this house agreed that there was no limp or pain. And I woke up and was like, ow. So, like, I was
with you on Thursday, dude. I saw you walking. Yeah. That was one of the 17 topics we're not going to cover today. I mean, like, you looked fine.
Yeah.
And also, too, based on how grueling your schedule was, I knew you weren't, like, tearing it up on the pickleball court.
No. That's what I had hoped to be doing this weekend. Burn some calories off from all those New York meals that we had. But yeah, man, I'll tell you a few things. So let's go to the mechanics of canceling all of that. Yes. A few things that you need to remember from some of these airlines. Number one, if you are within 24 hours of a Virgin Atlantic departure, no matter what, your miles and ticket are no longer refundable. You're out. So take action. And I was like, by the time I got an agent, I was like 2.5 hours before being 24 hours. And she was like, I'm really glad you caught me. I had forgotten that rule. And like, there was no like sympathy card, because I'm sure what I'm thinking about is like every other moron who's lying about this is now doing me a disservice, because when I'm telling them I was just in the ER, I know you hear this every day, but I'm not like I'm not making this up. I cannot go to London. I like whatever, like I have the after action report from the ER or whatever you need, which again now with AI fake PDFs can be generated in a second. So she was great. Unfortunately, I'm still out $400 because it's $100 per ticket cancellation fee. I still got some taxes and fees back plus the miles back. Really don't want to be out $400, so I'll continue to, press that, file a claim.
What about it? Weren't you? I shot Aeroplan too.
Yeah, and then I had to call Aeroplan, and that's the real stinger there. It's $150 per ticket redeposit fee.
Yeah,
I'm 50K elite as well. That's middle of the tier elites. You have to be very top tier elite to get that $150 waived, and she would not budge on it whatsoever. I was like, can I upload the documentation? Can I even know? So that was tough. Again, I'll call back and press my luck because that's basically the $850 I'm out right now. Various other things just to remember. British Airways is actually the easiest to cancel online and get all my Avios and whopping $4 for a domestic flight that I booked. That just reminds me we're missing out on the London City experience with the family. That sucks. And then luckily was outside of all my booking windows with Hyatt just by one day, actually, for the first hotel that had a 7-day cancellation policy for Scotland, but got all my Hyatt points back. Same with Hilton, was outside the cancellation window, got all my Hilton points back. And it was just really got down to the trains and the attractions, most of which I had to fire emails off, and just I attached my ER report and said, like Tower of London, Westminster Abbey, these kinds of things that I had pre-booked because they were going to sell out London Eye, that kind of stuff. So far, I've gotten two responses back. One, Westminster Abbey said, I'm not going to refund you, but you can now, instead of having your date stamp ticket, you can use these tickets anytime in the next year. Just email us before and we'll move your tickets. So I was like, fair enough. Like, probably there's like, fair enough. Like, thanks for at least being it. The Heathrow Express told me to go pound sand. Too bad you're not getting your money back. So that's $50 out the window. And then still waiting to hear back from other folks. Not really easy to contact these attractions. I found some generic, customer service at historicallondon.com for like the Tower of London kind of stuff. So we'll keep fighting the fight, but I got at least got all the points and miles back. Again, out the taxes and fees and redeposit fees. I did cancel United, no problem, no redeposit fee for a Lufthansa intra-Europe flight I booked for Emily and the kids, got that back. So like, just, get a cup of coffee or tea or something and buckle up and, start making those phone calls and, do your best, and then hopefully catch the right agents.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad that nobody else fought you. Gosh, I'm surprised that you've done that. I'm surprised that you're 50-50 on attraction credits so far. I'll be interested to see what that sells once you hear back from all of them. And like I'd say, it's one of the few, I don't want to say downside because that sounds maybe overly negative, but it's one of those few annoying rules in the Aeroplan program because it's such a
That's
great
pretty
program.
steep, man. $150 for redeposit when those are pretty much gone the wayside. Now, I do still have some options. I do still, I booked with the Built MasterCard, which does have the trip cancellation protection. So, last ditch effort, it's not a fun process, but you can go file a claim with MasterCard World Elite and hopefully they, approve that to get this money back. So all hope is not lost. It's again, it's something that we cannot get back, which all of the time, right, to do this stuff.
Oh, yeah. Like you said, you burned your whole day yesterday.
Yeah,
and part of me, had I thought I had any chance to actually get you in front of a microphone, part of me wanted to push the envelope to get Spicy Cur for 20 minutes. Jeremiah would be like,
that was not a good spot. Not a great spot today, but yesterday was a complete wash, and that would have been pretty ugly. So, I had to tell the kids, right, who were just, utterly disappointed. That's never any fun. Mrs. Kerr's pretty sad. She was really looking forward to her first European jaunt with just the kids and not me, but we don't need dad. We can do it ourselves kind of deal. I know that was going to be a special bonding moment for them. So, and we had carved this, 2-3 week window out months ago, which is so unlike us. Like I look back at these original booking, I booked the Virgin ticket in October. That is so unlike us to do that.
These were the super cheap award flights, right? That we all got.
That was the other thing. This was like 14,000 built points per person for upper class on the new A350, and that sucker's in the air right now with 4 empty seats in upper class. Maybe not. Maybe they filled it up. But there's no we just now we had the time blocked out. Like my work calendar and all of the kids' mini spring activities start the second that this trip was supposed to be over. So it's not like we can just bump it a month later until I can walk again. We got to wait, a significant amount of time. We've done Europe off season for the last few years. It's been fantastic. We don't want to go in the summer when it's hot and there's crowds. So I don't know, man. It's just a big bummer, but better than buying a whole bunch of non-refundable tickets with a debit card and just being screwed out of $6,000, right? Like, it could certainly be worse. Which is just a reminder to everybody, what kind of travel protections. We have Allianz annual travel policy as well. That if MasterCard not come through, you can see what they got there.
And think about that because I figure you're right. If you have that plan, I would say I feel reasonably good. Again, time to do all this stuff. But I feel
Yeah.
reasonably good about your ability to get some love from either Allianz or from, the
MasterCard.
Built MasterCard, from MasterCard folks. So, I mean, I wouldn't say you're a favorite, but between the two, I do 30-40% chance.
Yeah, if I end up out $400 but get all the points and miles and other stuff back, then that's about as good as you can hope, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, my 2 cents would be like the worst part for me in this situation would be telling the kids. And I think I said this to you sort of like flippantly in text, but I think this to me is the great thing about points and miles. When we've had left-hand turns with the kids, not to this level, knock on wood, we have not had to rip apart a trip 24 hours before. And thankfully I appear to have slightly better musculature than Mr. Kerr when it comes to like tearing calf muscles and stuff like that.
It's so weird, so strange.
But like when we've had those disappointments, and I've said to the kids, like, look, like, don't worry. That like they almost interrupt me and go, yeah, Dad, we know, like, this sucks, but we know we'll go sometime. Like we know there's gonna be a future. And so like, I've met your kids; they're great kids, and I absolutely know that they were bummed last night, but I also know that you have built that foundation with them, that they know that you'll find a way to make the next trip special.
Yeah, they were sweetie pies this morning. They both told me they know it's not anybody's fault, Dad, and we're fine and be okay. And put a little tear in Dad's eyes, as I didn't remember how bad my leg hurts. I was like, yeah, we'll just keep these tears. This is so much worse than the last time, man. I don't know if it's because of the clock. I don't know what's going on.
Bizarre.
I called my primary care doctor and was like, you got to get me in this week, man, because I just need you to look over, check everything.
And you're also, and you and I talked about it over the weekend, but I assume you are going to follow through and go to a heart specialist just to check on the clot in the vein issue.
Yeah, so that's what I got to get the referral from the primary care and all that stuff to be like, hey, what's going on here? Well, let's do all the tests for all the underlying things, because I tend to be on airplanes a lot, and this is not something that I need to have panic attacks on every flight going forward.
Yeah. You taught me something new about clots I now need to find out more about, which is that the clot can become a permanent part of your vein, and that's okay. Because I would think, like, even if it became a permanent part of your vein, I wonder if that's part of the pain that you're feeling.
Yeah, we're gonna find out. She called me from the doctor. I sent him a message and I was like, hey man, this is what's going on. I need to see you this week. He's like, I'll tell the front desk to get you in first thing. I was like, great. She called me and she's like, I got you at noon on Friday. And I was like, let's do a little bit better than that. Let's see.
Did you say noon Tuesday?
Let's see if that calendar clears up between, I''ll come and sit in the parking lot and wait. I don't care. It's just let me know.
All right, so I have a long list of topics, and I'm going to let you choose the next topic we go to, but I'm choosing one first. And I'm going to frame up all the stuff that we should have talked about, and including the extra stuff. We already talked about Southwest stuff today, the Delta plane lying upside down on a runway, my first Blade experience. I have a poll question, which we're probably not going to get to today. I have a listener question. I got a Slack member question. I got the awesome Flighty stuff that you and I talked about Flighty and my delay into DCA after I left you. But you're going to get to pick the next topic, but I get to pick this one. You're going to like it, I promise. So we're going to talk about Sharam.
Yeah, that's a great topic. We should talk about that.
So there's lots of stuff that Mr. Kerr and Ankur, the CEO of Built, share with us this week that I have been threatened with a pain equal to tearing my calf muscle if I say anything. So
we'll just straight stuff you in a van. You'll disappear forever. Yeah.
That's usually what my people do. But since we can't talk about that, I just wanted to share what I thought was a really cool moment at Hotel 50 Bowery in New York City. So Built had us up there for the event. There are a bunch of influencers in the wild that were at the event. And I've met a lot of hotel GMs and rooms executives over the years. And, especially with Hyatt as a lifetime globalist, I get emails from the GM. Maybe it's written by them. Maybe it's written by their assistant. They say nice things and all that stuff. I honestly don't think I've met someone warmer and friendlier than Sharam, who is the GM of the Hotel 50 Bowery. And I had two experiences with him. First one was on check-in. I'm there at check-in, and the guy recognizes me, lifetime globalist a little bit. I'm there with Julian Keel, Gary Leftview from The Wing, both guests on the show in the past. They're both there in the lobby with me. And while we're having this conversation, this gentleman appears out of nowhere and introduces himself to us as the GM of the Hotel 50 Bowery. Super, super nice guy. And then he said that he was going to be meeting us for drinks after dinner that evening in the rooftop bar. I think they call it the Crown Club.
The Crown, yeah.
The Crown. So as you know, dinner ran late that evening. And so now it's probably almost 10:30 when we're getting back. We're supposed to be back there at 9:30.
9:30. Yeah.
And I'm thinking, well, we don't get to see Sharam again, but I mean, nice guy, drop him a note afterwards, whatever. He's standing in the Crown at 10:30 at night when we get there. And he grabs a drink and sits down with us, and he is what could only be described as big a points and miles nerd as you and I.
One of us.
And it just a fun conversation with the guy.
Yeah. And what Ed's leaving out is that Mr. Sharam, who has been a great friend of not only my day job, but just an ambassador for Hyatt, really, and everything that's great about it. He fanboys over you and ignores Gary Leff, who is right next to you. And he's like, Ed Pizza. That's probably the first time, and I think we all agree the only time that's going to happen to you going forward in your professional life, where Gary Leff is ignored and you're on center stage there with Sharam. Julian explained he told the story of that, so I'm sad I missed that. But yeah, Sharam stayed up. I've had him into the built office just to use him as a sounding board for some stuff that we're working on. He always takes awesome care of everybody that we send over there. He texts me like during the middle of the day. He's like, "Hey, Richard, just let you know all the VIPs are here. We took care of them. I greeted them all at the front desk." He always leaves something in your room. Oh, it's like old school hospitality, man. That is just so good, and it's in New York City. So
yes,
go to 50 Bowery, see those folks over there, get one of their welcome cocktails. It's going to be a good stay, and then the Crown in spring and summer, when they have the outdoor area open, is just unbelievable. And the indoor area is just cool to hang out in the winter as well. So it was a great time last week. But don't tell anybody or you're going to disappear forever.
Yeah, so to your point, I was offered a glass of sparkling wine when I checked in, which, doesn't happen often for check-ins at properties, especially a property. So this property is on the edge of Chinatown. Gosh, I'm trying to think, Canal Street and I guess Bowery, from that standpoint, and I'm trying to remember, I think that's a category 5, so 17 to 23,000 points a night. I thought the room was very quiet, which is tough to find in New York City. Now, I wasn't higher floor, I was on the 16th floor, but quiet room, decent size. I've actually, now I think about it, I've got some B-roll video that Jeremiah can roll over the top here so people can see what the room looked like. It has a real desk with a real chair, so you can work at it. I'm sure
spacious for New York City, man.
Yeah, big size room, decent sized bathroom. All the finishes were the room was in great condition. So I was definitely a lot of surprise there. It was a different feel than the Grayson, but the same sort of I would absolutely stay here again for 17 to 23,000 points a night. It was, it's right by the BD and F train and the 6 train. So there's plenty of subway access. I actually suggested this to one of our Slack members, Boyd, who's trying to go to a Yankees game later this summer, saying hey, stay down in Chinatown or a financial district to find cheaper room rates for Yankees games. I think Hotel 50 Bowery is perfect for something like that. Welcome cocktail. I could absolutely see the outside area upstairs at the Crown being awesome. And you're right. I forgot about the fact that he absolutely fanboyed me and not Gary, which will be the only time in my life that it happens. And Julian, it's funny because Julian always has the right comment at the right moment. And as we're staying there, we're walking the elevator, I make the comment wow, that's the only time I'm ever going to get fanboyed over Gary. And he's like, he probably just didn't recognize Gary because of all the weight he's lost. And I'm like, oh, thank
Hey, shout out to Gary. He does look great. Half the size, man. Doing great stuff over there.
He does.
Yeah, I lived at 50 Bowery for many a night when I was commuting up for TPG and at the start of my time at Built. So you're not going to go wrong going to see him. So shout out to Sharam there. He probably, if you're a points and miles person, he probably follows you on Instagram, by the way. Really, very active there.
Shout out to Sharam for the very warm welcome and love to stay in the property. I can't wait to come back. So,
yeah. Next topic, man.
Yeah, where do we go from here? Yeah, we got Southwest, we got Delta, we got Flighty, we got Blade, we got
the Southwest.
Anything else too? And you pick whatever else. There's a ton of stuff out there.
I know there's a lot of stuff. Would you say the Delta accident happened, 5 hours ago at time of recording here? Yeah. The plane upside down with no wings at Pearson. It seems everybody so far has survived. 76 passengers and 4 crew. Unbelievable. Some people were sent to the hospital. So
it doesn't seem any of them were critical either. Like the last report I read, no critical injuries either.
How does a plane turn upside down and then nobody die? I don't know. I hope that's the case, and then I'm sure we'll learn more there. So. Nah, it's just a lot going on in general aviation, right now, period. So we'll wait on that.
17 injuries is what they're saying. So
is it?
Yeah.
Unbelievable, man.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, we don't know any passengers. We do not know of any of these passengers having critical injuries. So
Yeah.
So at one point they had said there were 2 passengers in critical condition, but now they're saying that they don't know of any. And I have thoughts on this, but I want to hear what I want to hear what you have to say.
Oh, I do. I don't know. The weather was really bad. Super high winds. I think it said gusting to 35 knots. Very, very snowy. Don't know. Did a breeze catch them and flip it too far? I don't know. I can't even begin to speculate what makes a plane flip upside down when it's, about to touch down.
Yeah, I can't either. You certainly just say speculate. Did it start to turn and then the wing caught the ground? It flipped all. Like it would have to be an almost perfect storm for the pictures that we're showing. And there are a couple pictures that we can probably show. So we'll see if we can get a picture up here on the screen to show.
And then the thing didn't burst into flames.
Right.
Like, how did that not happen?
And here's the thing. I think that I would say that I feel about this. Like when I saw the picture, and we had somebody in Slack. I think it was Kobe, who had a friend of a friend who was on the flight and sent a picture over, from the tarmac, which was just bizarre. But like, if you think about it for just a second, I know we just had the very tragic accident at a DCA, and there's still, plenty of information for us to learn there about what happened. But I think what I can't get past here is, like, when you think about flying and people talk about the safety there, you have this plane that had 70 some odd people, 80, I think, with the crew included. Like, you look at the pictures of this, the wings of the plane are gone.
Bye-bye.
And nobody died.
Yeah.
No, nobody died. So there's a few things here. First off, I think it shows just how safe these planes really are, that you could have something this severe happen and everybody walks away, is just stunning. It absolutely goes back to something you and I say frequently on the show numerous times. Buckle your damn belt when you're on the plane, even when the seatbelt sign is
still see
off.
so many people just chilling with their seatbelt unbuckled. I'm like, y'all are more gambling. Gamble more than I do.
Like, full well, if 80 seatbelts were not clicked on this flight, people would have died. And sadly enough, like, if somebody wasn't belted in, serious injuries or death for the person they hit too. Right. I mean, for the speed you're going, which leads me to my last thing. And I said this in the hospital today. My dad was having surgery, and we're talking with some other folks who travel a lot. It's accidents like this that still bring me back to something that I'm almost positive you have done, and I know that we did, which is we took our kids on planes as lap children. And I understand that the FAA has rules for this sort of thing, but my wife had a wrap. It was called a Moby wrap that she used to use to carry our children. So she would just sort of like a soft sort of wrap that she would use to secure the kids to us. And I remember the first time we got on a plane with, I think it was our daughter, Kat, in that wrap up against Michelle's chest. And the flight attendant told her she had to take him out. She had to take him out. And I'm thinking, like, you're going to ask a mother for a plane that's landing at probably 200 miles an hour, and the plane is going to flip 180 degrees, and you want them to hold on to the kid?
Yeah, I always thought that was strange, because we always had the clip thing that held the baby in. I can't remember what it's called now. You always make him
the Bjorn.
Take him out of that for takeoff and landing. And I was always like, seems a lot safer to be buckled in here. So glad there were hopefully not any lap kids on there, and if there were, I guess everybody's fine. So that's unbelievable.
If there was a lap kid, kudos to that parent for the death grip.
Yeah, jeez Louise. Let's carry on with the bad news today, again on a Monday time of recording. So like literally an hour before we started recording, a tweet went out from Southwest that basically said, hey, all corporate staff that's not contractors in Dallas, stay home tomorrow, work remote unless you're vital to operations, and you'll get a Zoom call. And the Zoom call will tell you whether you're employed or not. We're laying off how much? 1,750 people from
Sounds about right.
Corporate.
15% of the corporate workforce.
15% of the corporate warehouse is going to get a Zoom call tomorrow to say, thanks for playing. And it sounded like they're only going to get paid through April, and then that's it. Onward and forward. This is the hard part of the Southwest, changing themselves, with new leadership, on the board, making these tough decisions. So
yeah,
I know we both know people that work at Southwest, and hoping for the best tomorrow from those Zoom calls. But man, it's corporate America is cut. It's no joke, man. Like you get a Zoom call one day and that's it. Your life's upside down. You're looking for a new job.
Yeah, you and I both do know people there, and I'm, we're right in the middle of Freddie's voting now, and I've been talking with those folks. I'm certainly hoping that all the people I know that worked there yesterday still work there tomorrow. I think I think this is one of those things that I think there's more to discuss here as we get more details on it. This is fairly breaking, and we actually are trying to chase down Brett Snyder, Cranky Flyer, to come on the show. So this might be a topic to discuss with him, especially since last I checked, you're not going to London this week. Maybe we do that.
Thanks for reminding.
Let me just rub a little salt in your
Talk
calf.
about that some more.
Yeah. But, I think I hate seeing things happen this way. And I understand the way the world works. I understand the way public companies work. You wish that there was some world in which you look at this timeline and say, all right, we got to get rid of 1,700 people. I get it. If this decision were made sooner, as difficult a decision is to make, then manage this process as much as possible through some level of attrition. People leave, go to other companies. People have performance issues, get fired, don't fill that position after they leave. That would have been my hope for something like this. Because I think the thing that's, I don't want to say different about other airlines. I don't want to say that airlines don't have culture. I think Southwest had one of the most unique cultures in the airline industry, and I see how much those folks really believe in the Southwest vision and what they're doing. And man, I mean, this is such a culture killer to have something happen this way.
Tough. Best of luck to everybody there at Southwest this coming week.
Yeah, and I mean, like on the business side of this, it's like, I haven't verified this number. It wouldn't surprise me. Sean M. from the Slack community, who you and I both know, he noted, it must have come from the articles, that the Southwest revenue per management head is $2.5 million, and that compares with $4.5 million in revenue per management head for Alaska, which I think you and I would both agree is one of the more well-run domestic airlines in the country, if not the best of the bunch in terms of how they run the airline right now. And so I'm not surprised by those numbers. I don't know what, like American, Delta, and United would come in at, but certainly in a world where everybody's publicly held, you can't have that sort of disparity amongst your competitive set.
Yeah. Don't else say, man, except good luck to everybody there. And it's going to be very interesting a year from now to see what Southwest looks like, both from a management perspective and an onboard product.
Yep. I would agree. And I think that's probably a good place to pin it for this week. Like I said, we got my first Blade trip to talk about, but thanks to my Built Platinum status, which I think is definitely well worth talking about next week. I have this poll question I want to talk about in terms of airline status, which I think we could have a lot of fun with. We got Glitter Mike's question. We've got a listener question. But I will leave us with a quick shout out for the Freddie Awards. Take my little selfish plug here at the end. Gary Leff and I continuing on this legacy that Randy Peterson built over the last 30 plus years. Voting opened just a couple days ago as we record this episode. So hopefully we'll take a moment. We'll throw the link in the show notes to cast a vote for your favorite airlines, hotel loyalty programs, favorite credit card. I do believe Mr. Kerr's home company of Built Rewards is nominated for best loyalty credit card.
We do. We have a nomination there, so I will be at the award show to collect my big shiny trophy and $1 million bonus check for taking that bad boy home. Looking forward to it.
So that was part of your signing bonus for this contract, huh?
Oh yeah. Well, that's the co-host. That's the podcast co-host. Annual fee there.
I like that.
Side. No. Hey, let's be perfectly clear. I have nothing to do with the Freddies. I have no idea what Ed and Gary are doing. I have no input whatsoever. I will cast my vote like anybody else, and the results will be what they are, and I have absolutely nothing to do with this. Period. The end. That line is drawn in the sand between me and Mr. Ed.
I think he's trying to say he wants nothing to do with me, which I wouldn't be surprised by. But I will say that the thing that I've always loved about the Freddie Awards, there are tons of expert awards out there, and I'm not knocking any of them. But Mr. Kerr and I have something in common right here as it does relate to the Freddie Awards. We have the exact same number of votes. Freddie Awards have always been referred to as the People's Choice Awards of the travel loyalty industry. We get millions of votes every year. Mr. Kerr is one, and I am one. And so he is entitled to his wrong opinion, as I am mine. And you're entitled to yours, so we hope you'll cast a vote for all your favorite loyalty programs.
Yeah, it's a ton of fun to come to the actual award ceremony too, because it's all the professional nerds like us that come in together in one room. So I can't wait for that again.
And if you're Julian in summer, you get to throw M&Ms at Ed while he's on stage. So
yeah, great.
A big thanks to Wells Fargo for being our title sponsor again this year. Couldn't put it on without them. I won't bother asking you where you're traveling this week. I know I'm grounded as well.
Keep talking about it.
So I think we'll both be sitting here. I am truly sad that you don't get to take this trip with your kids, but if I know you will find a way to make the next trip even better than this one was going to be and have some surprises up your sleeve for the kiddos.
Yeah, I hope so. Hope somebody's got some surprises up their sleeve for me. Doesn't involve medicine or doctors or surprise. Somebody snuck. A leprechaun came in my bed. I was walking in my sleep and tore my calf. That's what happened.
That's what we're going with.
Yeah, leprechauns. They're real. I'm somebody who identifies as a leprechaun. Maybe, I don't know, man. 2025 is a weird time. Like that could happen. Actually, there's probably a subreddit about it. Let me go look that up. Oh, I'm on my work computer. No, let's not look that up.
Good call. Good call. Well, I expect that we will probably record again before the week is out. So I expect that by the end of the week, you will have all the answers for us on how the calf muscle was retorn, so that we can share that with our listeners and our viewers. And yeah, I think there's no better place to close than just do what Richard and Summer did, and just you got a weird pain, go to the doctor, get it checked out. I get up on planes just about every hour. I'd like to say it's because I want to make sure I don't have blood clots. It's mostly because of my old man bladder and chugging too much water. But I will continue to do that, and maybe I'll get up even a little bit more frequently now, just seeing what you've been dealing with, Mr. Kerr.
Until next time.
Until we upload again, Mr. Kerr, one calf muscle at a time. We got miles to go.
You're not pregnant. It's twins.